Hello Year 5 and welcome to day 2 of our learning journey this week. So we've been thinking about how have I faced the challenge of home learning, and I was really over the moon with the work that I got back yesterday. It was so lovely to see how you responded to the activity and how thoughtful you'd really been. So thank you for taking it so seriously. I'm really looking forward to seeing you on Friday. And as I said, the more effort you put into the work that we're doing this week, the easier you will find that conversation on Friday, and the more you'll be able to share with me rather than letting me lead it. So thank you very much. Keep up the hard work, and we're going to carry on from where we left off yesterday. If you're watching this video and you suddenly realise that you missed yesterday's activity, please stop and then look back in your portfolio for the work that we did yesterday, because otherwise it won't really make much sense. Okay, so what you need to do is, our job today is going to be to write a reflection linked to our mind map yesterday. So that's the only thing we're going to do, so it won't take you that long. So look at the page that you were working on yesterday. I think you're going to need, because we're going to butterfly this, we're going to improve it. So you're probably going to need about half a page. So feel free to start a brand new page, and then can you write today's date and then the title of reflection, what is my proudest achievement linked to learning during lockdown so far. Okay, so as I said, make sure you've got at least half a page so you've got plenty of space to have a go at your reflection, and then improve it and edit it and then write it up in neat. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to pause the video, make sure you copy my spellings correctly, and then press play once you've done that. Okay, so if you're looking at your book, it should look like my page so far. And what I would like you to do is to just glance back over the mind map that you created yesterday. So you had thought about, sort of, some of you had done more than 4. Okay, so 4 or 5, maybe 6 key things that you were particularly proud of. And then the idea was, like I did here, I started to unpick it a little bit more, and I started to think, okay, so I'm proud of my organisational skills, but what does that actually mean? What does that look like in my daily life at the moment? So it's about having that tidy space in my bedroom. It's about checking dojo. And then you were challenged after that to think about actually one of these and then to extend it a little bit more. So what was the impact of somebody checking dojo straight away? And that was, I get my work done quickly because I'm not looking for things all over the house and getting distracted. And I've just realised that should go over here as I'm looking at this, because it was linked to that one. Okay, so having that tidy space in my bedroom and having everything I needed meant that I wasn't getting distracted, I wasn't wasting time. Okay, so hopefully you have put that real effort into thinking about this mind map. Now, there was a couple of people that I asked them some extra questions. So, for example, they might have said arithmetic and then division. Okay, and I sort of challenged them to say, okay, so what about division? And it was the fact that actually they didn't feel very confident when they were in school before Christmas, but they've really persevered with it. Now, the more thought you've given to this mind map, the easier you will find this reflection. So you might want to pause the video and just add a little bit more detail in to your mind map. Feel free to do that, because as I said, you'll find the reflection much easier to write. So pause now if you'd like to, otherwise carry on listening. Okay, so this is just the page again. What I would like you to do is what we would do in school. I want you to have a go now at writing an answer to this reflective question. So remember when we were in school, we'd have a go at it and it wouldn't be very good, and that's absolutely fine, but it gives us a place to start. Now what I'm going to ask you to do, if we go back to this mind map, is to choose one of these initial 4 or 5 things that you chose to be really proud about. So what we're going to think about is, which area are you most proud of? And I would argue that you need to go for the area that you've had the most kind of detail when you've created your you put in the most detail when you've created your mind map, because you'll have more to write about. So if you've got one here that just says determination, I didn't give up, that's not going to take you very long to write. So I would think about the one that you've got the most to say about. And as I said, it's my proudest achievement, but it could be one of my proudest achievements. It doesn't have to be absolutely the proudest, but in order to write a good reflection, you need to have quite a lot to say. So your first job is to choose which area are you going to focus your reflection on. So for me, it would be between Miss Hike's reading, the character that I created during the learning journey, my organisational skills and determination. Now, when I look at my mind map, it's pretty rubbish because I only added detail here, so I've got no choice but to focus on this area. So if you want to pause the video now just to pick your area, if you want to give it some proper thought, do that. Okay, and then what you need to do is, as I said, is to have a go at writing a reflection. What is my proudest achievement linked to learning during lockdown so far? So again, like when we were in school, don't panic if you haven't got a lot to say. You might just say something, I'm really proud of my arithmetic because I feel much more confident. Okay, that's a really good place to start. So please pause the video and have a go at writing 1 or 2 sentences to answer this question, and then we'll look at it together. Okay, if you were stuck doing that and you were thinking, Mrs. Pierre, I haven't got a clue what I'm writing, I'll go back. I've chosen about being organised. That's what I'm going to focus my reflection on. So my initial reflection, it's disappeared, is I'm really proud of the fact that I'm much more organised now. Being more organised has meant that I get my learning done each day. So that is my first attempt at writing a reflection. Okay, so again, if you haven't done that yet, please press pause. And then hopefully people are back and you've had a go at it, and yours might look similar to mine. I would presume that for most of you yours is much better than mine, but that's my first attempt. Now what I need with a reflection is I need to add detail. So if you're a really good thinker, if you're somebody that really considers what you're writing about and how you explain things, the more information you give your reader, the more persuasive your argument is. So to make me believe that you're really proud of this achievement, you need to tell me exactly why, and you need to tell me what sort of happened, how you did it, and what the impact was. So what I'm going to need to do is to remind myself, looking back at my mind map, about all the different things that I could add in. I don't just have to stick to this information. So when you look at the second one that I've done, you'll notice that actually I've included some other things. This is just a starting point. If you think of some better things to include, then obviously that's fine. So I had another go at it, and as usual I've written quite a lot more. You don't have to write loads and loads and loads. But again, when we speak on Friday, if you just say, oh yeah, I was really proud about arithmetic because I could do division now, that's not telling me very much. It's not giving me any information about how you did that, about why particularly you're proud of it, what was your breakthrough moment, how it made you feel, okay? Because actually in that conversation, I really want to get an idea of what it's been like at home. So the more information you give me, the better. Okay, so what I wrote was this. Now I will start this in a minute by saying I am going to edit this, so don't think that I've gone crazy and I've suddenly forgotten how to write properly. I'm just trying to model to you what you might have a go at as your second attempt. So what I've written is, looking back on all the different things that I have achieved during my time learning at home, I am most proud of how organised I have become. So it's very much like this, but I'm just saying it in a more detailed way. Before lockdown, I waited for the adults in my life to explain to me what to do step by step. This is not the case anymore, as I have realised that I can work much more independently than I realised. Now straight away I'm thinking, hang on, I need to edit this, but I'm going to resist the temptation. Each morning I look at Dojo and see what needs to be done. This then lets me make a list so that I can tick each thing off as I go. Another good thing about being organised is that I finish my work quickly so I can spend the rest of the day doing things that I enjoy. It's my reward for working so hard and doing my best. Now that is a pretty good reflection. It's detailed, okay? It gives my reader and the person I'm going to be speaking to, which is going to be me on Friday, it gives them lots of information. It almost explains the journey that you've been on. So at the beginning of lockdown, I wasn't very organised, but I realised I had to be. These are the things that I've done. This is how it's become easier. And then this is what my reward is. I get to spend more time doing things that I enjoy. So what I would like you to do now is to have another go at writing your reflection by adding some more detail to it. Now you've got a better idea. Take your ideas, look back at your mind map, okay? And then, as I said, other things will occur to you, but just tell me a little bit more. Tell me about how you became more organised, or tell me how you got better at arithmetic. What helped you and what does it feel like now? And like I said, you can use some of my ideas, that's absolutely fine, but hopefully you can use your own words. So this is your next kind of challenge. You've had a go at writing what we would consider to be, you know, not a great reflection, but it's a really good starting point. Okay, now you're going to add detail to it. You're going to explain a little bit more, tell me more. And like I said, I'm more than happy for you to look at what I've written and use that as inspiration. So your job now is to have another go. So leave a bit of space and start again. And as I said, just keep looking back at what I've written and use it as inspiration to write your own version of a much more detailed, much more informative, much more interesting reflection that shows a deeper level of thinking. Okay, and then press play again once you've done that. Right, so your penultimate job, okay, this is the reflection from here. I have just put it here so I can write around it. So now you've got your reflection, we're going to improve it. So hopefully you've remembered the 5 letters that we use when we're editing, okay? So we're looking at cups. So this is what I expect to see that you've done. Now I am going to live the experience of cups, which I think I'm going to find probably quite annoying because I want to change things straight away when I notice a mistake. So I'm really not happy with the fact that I've used realise twice within a sentence. Okay, but I'm going to start with capital letters and I'm going to think about the fact that, yes, there is a capital letter there. Okay, so looking back on all the different things that I've achieved during my time learning at home, I'm most proud of how organised I have become. Right, there's no other proper nouns, there's no other words then that need a capital letter. So this word here needs a capital letter. Now you hopefully have got your purple pen at home, but just use a different colour when you're editing and try and keep it neat. So before lockdown, it's interesting, I've seen lots of people use a capital L for lockdown. I think just be consistent. If you use it now, then keep using it. So I'm just looking for capital letters. Before lockdown, I waited for the adults in my life to explain what to do step by step. No more, I've got my capital letter there, that's fine. It's not the case anymore as I've realised that I can work much more independently than I realised. I want to change that, but I'm not going to do it now. Each has got a capital letter, that's fine. Each morning, hang on, I on its own is always a capital letter. So I need to edit that. Each morning I look at Dojo and see what needs to be done. Again, Dojo, some people don't spell it with a capital, but I do. This then lets me make a list so that I can tick each thing off as I go. Full stop, capital letter, that's fine. Good thing. So sometimes reading in my head, but okay. I can't spot any more missing capital letters, so I can now say goodbye to that. Right, now I'm thinking about understanding. So this is where I can get rid of that realised. So looking back on all the different things that I have achieved during my time learning at home, I am most proud of how organised I have become. Now, I've noticed a bit of punctuation missing there, but that's my next letter. Okay, so I'm just thinking, does it make sense? The easiest way for it to check that it makes sense is to read it out loud and hear it. Okay, what I would say is if you're editing this, if you've got 20 minutes to go and do something else, then I would go and do that, because actually quite often you can edit much more effectively if you've kind of not written it straight away and then try to edit it. So if you can, just go and do something else. If you want to just get it all done in one go, then that's fine. Another good tip is reading it out loud to somebody else, because they may notice something that you don't, or just because you're taking that extra care when you're reading it, you might notice something. So before lockdown, I waited for the adults in my life to explain to me what to do step by step. That's fine. This is not the case anymore, as I've realised that I can work much more independently than I realised. I'm not happy with this bit here. Okay, I'm going to take that bit out. I need to remember to put that full stop back in there. Okay, so this is not the case anymore, as I have realised that I can work much more independently than I thought. Yeah, I'm going to write that. It doesn't have to be longer. I'm just going to type it here and hopefully than, no capital letters, than I thought. Okay, and I'm just going to put that there. So I'm going to check it. This is not the case anymore, as I have realised that I can work much more independently than I thought. Fine. Each morning I look at Dojo and see what needs to be done. This then lets me make a list so that I can tick each thing off as I go. Another good thing about being organised is that I finish my work quickly so I can spend the rest of the day doing things that I enjoy. It's my reward for working so hard and doing my best. Okay, I think that all makes sense, so I'm now going to tick that off. Okay, punctuation. Now I've spotted some punctuation missing because I've started my first sentence with a subordinate clause. So looking back on all the things that I have achieved during my time learning at home. Okay, that's a very long subordinate clause. Okay, because I can have, I am most proud of how organised I've become. That's my main clause. I've missed that there. Before lockdown, again, subordinate clause, I waited for the adults in my life to explain to me what to do step by step. This is not the case anymore, as I've realised that I can work much more independently than I thought. Each morning, I look at, hang on, there's another subordinate clause there. I need to remember that. Each morning, I look at Dojo and see what needs to be done. Now, this is a dash, and it means that the second part of my sentence explains the first part. So I look at Dojo, see what needs to be done. Oh, this is why I look at Dojo, because this then lets me make a list so that I can tick each thing off as I go. So sometimes you can use a colon there, I use a dash. Either one will work because I'm explaining the first part of my sentence. Another good thing about being organised is that I've finished my work quickly so I can spend the rest of the day doing things that I enjoy. Again, I'm using that dash. So what I might do is change that to a colon, because then it shows I can use both pieces of punctuation. It's my reward, and that it is, so that works. It's my reward for working so hard and doing my very best. Right, punctuation is done. Spelling is absolutely fine unless you can see something I can't. I don't think I spelled anything incorrectly. It's not underlined it, so it's fine. Right, vocabulary. So this is about me thinking, can I change, can I improve some words? So I'm looking back on all the different things that I've achieved during my time learning at home. I'm most proud of how organised I have become. Before lockdown, I waited for the adults in my life to explain to me what to do step by step. I think this is all fine at the moment. This is not the case anymore, as I have realised that I can work much more independently than I thought. Each morning I look at Dojo. I might change that. This is getting a little bit, I don't need to, but just as an example to you, I might say I review Dojo. That's just a bit of a fancier way of saying it. Each morning I review Dojo and see what needs to be done. I could say see what needs completing. This then lets me make a list so that I can tick each thing off as I go. Another good thing about being organised, right, a good thing, I'm going to get rid of that. Another good thing, I'm going to write another benefit. Does that make sense? Another benefit of being organised. Another benefit of being organised. Another benefit, does that sound right? Another benefit of being organised is that I might do another benefit that comes from being organised. There we go, I like that. Didn't quite sound right before. Another benefit that comes from being organised is that I finish my work quickly so I can spend the rest of the day doing things that I enjoy. Doing things is just a bit random, isn't it? I suppose activities, I'm going to change it to, is a bit random as well, but it just is a better word. Activities that I enjoy, it's my reward for working so hard and doing my, I'm just going to add in there, very best. Okay, so I now have done that. I haven't included any impossible words, but I have made it sound a bit more grown up, a bit more mature. So your job now, all right, is to do this. So either go and take a break and then come back to it, but please do it today, because otherwise you'll be behind tomorrow. And write cups V very neatly and work through it like I did. I was really tempted to try and change everything all at once, but actually it's really important you do it step by step. So please pause the video and have a go at doing that as best as you can. Remember, you can use a dictionary or even your computer to check spelling, so there's no excuse for lots of spelling mistakes. And then play the video for the last little bit of instruction. Good luck. Okay, year 5, you have worked amazingly. Your very, very last job, okay, that you need to do is you need to copy this up in neat. So with all of your corrections, okay, you now need to leave a space and then just copy it out really carefully so that on Friday you've got a really clear version of your reflection to share with me, rather than trying to make sense of what you've written. So that's the very last job for today, okay, is to leave a space and just copy it up really carefully. I would suggest, okay, if you haven't made very many changes, then you need to have a look at editing a bit more. because even for me, I've looked at it and I've made quite a few changes that would make it difficult for me to make sense of it. And again, we really take pride in the work that we produce. So please take the time to write it really neatly with all of your changes. And then we'll see what Wednesday holds for us. But good luck.